Hi everyone, System Coral here. Today I'm going to be doing the fourth episode of DID in the Media, and I'm going to be touching on the Hulk comics, 1990s to present. Bruce Banner was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, and it shows heavily after the gamma radiation, so I'm going to be discussing the accuracies and inaccuracies of the comic books. In the comic books, Banner was diagnosed with DID before the gamma radiation, which I found to be pretty good because it's not trying to say that the radiation magically made him have DID. It shows that he had consistencies with it, and within his childhood had consistencies of DID. The Hulk. So the different Hulks are supposed to represent different alters in his system. The regular Hulk is supposed to represent his little in his childhood rage, which a lot of systems have littles, and they can be angry, and it was nice seeing a little that didn't have the, oh, they're happy-go-lucky, they're always happy and innocent kind of trope, because littles can be angry, littles can be feeling guilty, littles can have all sorts of emotions. Devil Hulk is supposed to be his protector. Green Scar is a protector, but there also shows splits. Split on Sakaar. So when he was on the planet Sakaar, he split and developed a new protector, which was Green Scar. Which I found it nice that they talk about splits, especially after he had a big trauma, a big battle on Sakaar, so that kind of stuff gets internalized. And so he developed a split and developed a new protector because of it to help him in his system. They also did Professor Hulk, which is an integration of regular Hulk and Bruce Banner. They mixed together and developed Professor Hulk, which is it shows that he has the intelligence and kind of charm of Bruce Banner, but also has the appearance and sort of immaturity of Green Hulk, regular Hulk that everyone knows. And I found it to be a nice representative of integration. Not every integration will look like that, but it shows a nice mix and blend of the alters to develop a new personality, which is Professor Hulk. It's not trying to say that the two are melded together and it's still the two in one. It shows that it developed a brand new alter, but it did have the combined senses of them. Savage Hulk was split from fear. He had a situation where he was extremely fearful in the comic books, and he split into Savage Hulk. They did a really good job diving into DID. They really gave a good description. They have a whole blurb where it's the guy explaining Bruce Banner has dissociative identity disorder. They call it by that. He's had it throughout his life. They give a description of what DID actually is. They handled it very well. The protectors are not evil. Like they didn't have the murder assaulter trope. It showed that the protectors are protecting Bruce Banner. They are doing their jobs to protect Bruce Banner and also protect other people in the world. It talks about trauma and his PTSD symptoms. It showed that he had a huge battle with his abuse from his father, and it showed throughout it, especially with his system and his alters, that he had an extreme amount of PTSD symptoms throughout that, because PTSD and DID go hand in hand. See PTSD specifically. They go hand in hand with each other. They're labeled sister disorders because when you have one, you have the other, and you can't really have one without the other. You can have PTSD without DID, obviously, but in order to have DID, you have PTSD. So that's really it. This has to be one of my favorite representations of DID. I think the books handled it extremely well. The authors handled it amazingly. And this was 1990s to present. So they are giving these descriptions in the 1990s. And in the 1990s, they didn't really do great about DID. There wasn't a lot of research out back then. There wasn't as much information, and it was a lot more stigmatized back then. Still stigmatized now, but it's heavily stigmatized back then, especially when you have stuff like Norman Bates, stuff like that, etc., where they're trying to use DID tropes. So I was very impressed by the fact that this series goes all the way back then, and they handled DID with such care and with such good representation. As the times were changing, they would add more into it to make it more accurate. So I definitely suggest that if you have DID, definitely check this one out, because it was a fantastic representation, and if you don't have DID, it really shows a great example of what systems go through, what it's like. Obviously, it's more fantasy related since it's Marvel and he's a superhero, so gamma radiation, everything. So it is a little different. It's not exactly what it's like if with regular humans, but it does show a fantastic representation of what it's like, just in a more unique way. But again, if anyone has any other ones they'd like me to review, leave in the comments below. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.